Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to your Matrix class. This is 201. This is Search, Find, and Customize. So in today's class, we're going to deep dive just a little further than we did this morning. So any of you who had me or were with me this morning, welcome back. Very happy to see you guys. And we're going to go ahead and jump into it because we don't have a sponsor. So we're going to start on miamirealtors.com, and I highlighted for you in Matrix 101 some of the ways that you can enter your Miami Gateway by scrolling to the middle of the page and selecting Miami Gateway. But while I'm here, I also want to let you know that on the right bottom side of your screen, you do have upcoming events and classes that you can preview. We also have legal updates that are available. And as I move all the way to the top of the screen, you also have a tab that's called MLS. I would go ahead and jump into this tab. This is going to give you an all Miami MLS Resource Center that you can find your rules and regulations. You can also find the Miami MLS Help Desk. You also can click on here to access information on help. So if you'd like to talk to a person from your Miami MLS regarding MLS questions, we do have hours from Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. We're also available on the weekend from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. We speak English and Spanish, and this is a phone number, 305-468-7067. We also have an email and a live chat. So I'm going to go ahead and share this inside of the chat so you guys have access. And then the next section that I want to pinpoint, I'm going to click on MLS once again, scroll to the middle of the page, and I also want to highlight for you the Miami Realtors MLS Help Center. So I'm going to give that a click. And you can find answers to your questions. You can start a little question search here, or we have it broken down by category. So we have MLS resources for you, courses by series. We got your one home resources, commercial information, MLS rules and regulations, all available here. So click on the source that you're interested in. And we have tips for you both in English and in Spanish. You have them by topic, open house search and tips, search for showing time enabled listings, new construction search, etc. Simply click on the tip that you're interested in previewing and a short tutorial will be available. These tips are 2 to 3 minutes long, so they're a great resource for you. I'm going to go ahead and click out of this section and share the MLS page in the chat. This is one of the things that I do enjoy about the Zoom classes, that I can share links with you that you can then bookmark for later. And click on home, and we're going to jump into the Miami MLS, scrolling down, giving that Miami Gateway a click, where we have all of our products and services. In Matrix 101, we did talk about the Matrix Learning Lab, and we did learn about how to access our MLS here, Matrix. If you are a brand new agent, I also wanted to mention that you have a choice. You have a choice between Matrix and Rapatoni. So you have Rapatoni icons here that you can deep dive into and see if that is your preference. My recommendation to you is use the MLS service, especially if you're new, use the MLS service that your office uses. Why? Because you want to make it easy for people to help you. So for me, I would do it based on what my office uses. The primary MLS that's being used at this time is CoreLogic's Matrix. Let's go ahead and give that a click, and that's going to open you up into your Matrix dashboard. Now in Matrix 101, we did discuss all of your options that are available up at the top. We also talked about some of the options that you have on the drop-down arrow. From here, I did want to share additional info from you or for you. On the drop-down arrow, you do have it by language. So if you are a Spanish speaker and that is a preference for you, then you can change the language. You also have a mobile view. So I'm going to give that a click, and that's going to give you that mobile view. If you are interested in signing in to your Miami Gateway and using this link to access your Matrix system on your phone, it is available for you to do so. So you'll have the full view on your phone as well. For the full site, what you'd want to do is click on full site towards the bottom, whether it's going to be on your cell phone or from here. All right. Clicking on that drop down arrow, I want to show you one more option, and that is another help resource. So I'm going to give that a click and show you a tip. Remember in Matrix 101 that we learned how to add additional fields? Well, I have a tip for you because a common question for us is, where can I find X fields, or where can I find X request from their customer? A great way to do that is going to be using the tip, the data input forms. Now, data input forms, I'm going to give that a click. I have an additional link called Miami Paper Input Forms. I'm going to give that a click as well. And from here, I have a status change form and then all of the input forms. What these are for, I'm going to click on RE1, which is the single family, is normally a tool that you would use to input a listing. So as you can see, everything in the red, that is a required field for a new listing. These are all of the fields that are going to be available inside of Matrix when you're searching for a single family home. So what you can do is you can use this to your advantage. There's a search tip. It is Control F on your keyboard. Control F. I used it in 101. This is going to populate a little window on the top right-hand corner of your screen. Use an Apple computer, then you can do Command F and it'll populate. So for example, let's say my customer is interested in a fence, right? So I'm going to input the word fence. The system is going to tell me that fence will populate on this page 2 times. It'll automatically take me to page 3 out of the 11 documents, and it'll highlight where I can find fence. So fence is listed under pool description. I'm not really interested in the pool fence, so I'm going to press enter again on my keyboard. The other place fence is located is under exterior features. So now I know when I add in a particular additional field, I need to add in exterior features to find fence. So to put that into play, I'm going to move into Matrix. I'm going to click on search, RE1, RE2, and I'm going to add an additional field. We learn to add them by clicking the word add remove at the bottom of a search page. Clicking on add will give me the opportunity to search for exterior fields. Once you find exterior features, you click on add and it'll move over to the selected fields. Once you do, you can click on back. Now I can scroll down to exterior features and I know that fence will be available here. So when I check it off, it's not part of my search. But how would I know that fence is under exterior? The tip is very, very helpful. Okay, so that's a little tip that you can find under your name, where you can find help. Now, aside from your data input forms, you can find a lot of great training here. You have your Matrix training guides, you have tutorials, you can find information regarding searching, emailing, and more. And towards the bottom, you have your list of city municipality codes and your area maps. So I'm going to give click to area map. I'm going to select Miami-Dade County. And I'm going to show you what that looks like. This is how people used to search before. Now we have the convenience that we normally search by zip code. We search by city. Sometimes we do it on the map. We do a radius. But before, the breakdown was area. And that was very, very important. It was section, area, and township. And this is where you can find that information. So if you're interested in searching by area, old school style, it's still available. Where's this on your search? Let me close out and put that into practice. Clicking on search, RE1, RE2, for example, that area fields would be here. All right, clicking on My Matrix dashboard. We went ahead and talked about some of your options underneath your name. And in Matrix 101, we did a little bit of a dive into some of the widgets that you have available. We learned that you can edit them and that you can customize them by either minimizing the information, moving them around on your screen in whatever place that you'd like, or hiding them under the addition. So in today's class, we're going to learn about one of these widgets, and that widget is called your Market Watch. So I'm going to take my Market Watch. I'm going to drag it up to the top of my page so we can practice. What are you looking at this time? Let me go ahead and update this information. All right. So Market Watch, you're looking at market activity, what is happening in the markets, but you are seeing it for far too much information. You're looking at Miami-Dade, Broward County, Martin, St. Lucie, Palm Beach. It is way too much information for it to be helpful for you. So what you want to do is you want to customize this search so that you're receiving information regarding your market area, which you can easily do, and I'm going to teach you how. If you know your market area, put it in the chat. Meaning, what's your farming area? Do you do Coral Gables, Pembroke Pines? Do you do Palm Beach? What is your area that you work? Put it in the chat. Pinecrest, Fort Lauderdale, we've got West Kendall. I love that you know the area that you want to specialize in. That's very, very important. We've got Miami Beach. All right, so this is how you customize it. It says single family condo RE1, RE2 at the drop down. If you click on the drop down, you have all of the property types, right? You've got land, residential income, etc. So we're going to get started with single family condo. On the right, you have another drop down. Do I want it on a weekly basis, every 3 days? Do I want only what's happening today or in the last 24 hours? I like setting it at 7 days, and now we're going to customize by clicking on the customize button. So if you have your city, all you would have to do here is you scroll down to the bottom of the page and you can input your city. So for example, Aventura. Check off Aventura and you are good to go. If you work a section like maybe Brickell, and Brickell is not a city, but it's 3 zip codes, then what you can do is you can click on where it says zip code and you can input the 3 zip codes in Brickell and then just separate them by a comma. So if you want to do a little neighborhood, a little section there. All right, I'm going to do Aventura and then I'm going to check off save. Now that I have Aventura, it's going to reflect the data in the last 7 days. So for example, I've got 41 new properties in the last 7 days that hit the market in Aventura. We've got 12 that are back on the market, 35 that they've lowered the price, 6 that they've increased the price, 17 that are active with a contract. So if anyone is not sure about that status, active with a contract means you can still show this property and you can put in a backup offer, but there is a contract on this property. Canceled, closed sale, pending, we have 13. Rented is 0 because it has its own category. Temporary off the market, we've got 15, 6 that are withdrawn, and 22 that haven't expired. So if I was interested, for example, in the expireds or creating a market for that or a campaign, I can click on my expireds. I know they've recently expired the last 7 days, and I can start to research this information. So for example, how do I access the entire property page? Click on the MLS number. Okay. From here, you can see, all right, how did they market this property? What was the price points? And then I would be curious about property history for sure. So what happened before it expired? Click on the little clock where you can access property history and we can take a look at what's happened. So far we can see that they listed it. I think they listed it and maybe they decided to then, we don't want to sell it. Let's go ahead and rent it instead. So you get to see exactly what's going on, or maybe not exactly, but it's a great way to begin that research. Now, as you can see, I'm still in my Market Watch. You can tell because it says Market Watch expired. And I have this drop-down arrow that I can click on. Let's say I'm interested now in my area. I did my research on expireds. I know who I'm going to try to communicate with. And now I'm like, okay, well, they have said that prices are decreasing, but to what extent? So I can click on my price decreased. And I can see in the last 7 days, yes, there has been some properties that they've dropped the price, but is 11% a big drop? 3%, 0.03, 2.64, 13%. None of these percentages are something to write home about. It's a slight percentage drop. This will help these properties get in front of people again because they've dropped the price slightly. It'll calm your seller, but it's not a significant drop. Price increases, right? You can take a look at that, and you can see how they've put up that price. All right, so these are your market watches. It'll help you keep your thumb on the market and what's going on in your area. We're going to jump into some other ones today. For example, we're going to talk about concierge a little bit. Let's jump into the next really important thing in Matrix, and that's your contacts. We briefly discussed your contacts in 101, so My Matrix contacts, but there's so much that can be done in this section. So we talked about how you add a customer. You click on the add button and you can input their information. Anything with a little asterisk is a mandatory field. We talked about inputting their name, their last name, and their email addresses. We also talked about categories and how it is that you can create your own clicking on the plus. In today's class, we're going to talk a little bit about what you get when you add in a customer. So once you add in a customer, initially you'll have access to their name, their email, and the category that you place them under. If you've created an auto email, which is an automatic email from the system, it'll show you how many. If you've created a saved search and assigned them to that property, you'll be able to access those saved searches. You can also see the last time that you used this contact, the last time they visited their customer portal, and if they have any notes that they shared with you. So I have 10 notes here from Connie Nieto. So I'm going to go ahead and click on here so you guys can see them. In our last class, I showed you that you can share notes with your customers, but your customers can also do a lot with their portal. So for example, she favorited some of the properties. These little hearts will let me know about that. She's also added some comments for me, and it gives me like a little asterisk, and I can see please save for me or any message that she sent me. So I'm able to reply, of course, right? And I can respond to her right away, and she'll get it in her portal. So let me go ahead and click back on My Matrix contacts. You get to see the notes. Aside from the notes, this is a list of her favorite properties, the little hearts. So if I have this list, could I not create this list as a possible tour, right? So this isn't fresh information. We want to make sure that the status is active. We can see these are old requests, but with a fresh customer who's working and choosing the properties that they're favorite, you can come back into your contacts, you can see what they like, and you can start working on scheduling, right, a showing for these properties. My contacts or My Matrix contacts. What else do you get? Now, once you select one of these contacts, you do have some actions you can take with them. You can either clear them, export them out, set them as active, meaning you are in the process of working with them, set them as inactive, maybe they're done, maybe you have them on a drip campaign, you're going to revisit them later, or you can delete them. Another option, you can click on their name and you get even more information. For example, are they pre-approved? Yes or no? What's your salutation? What's their email? What's their activity? Have they discovered their property fit already, which is on one home? Did they access their planner? So we are going to talk about how they can see their customer portal, their auto emails, any CMAs that you did for them, any sent emails that you did for them are here. You can also edit a contact. So let's say if you change their email, you can update this information and click on cancel. Then I'm going to go ahead and click on close. If you need to find someone, I don't have that many contacts, you can use the search up here. You can either do it by name, by email, or by reference number. Where is the reference number? If I move my screen to the side, it's on the right. Anytime you add in a new customer, the system will automatically assign them a reference number. And then my last little bit is I can change it from gallery. Well, I can change it from list to gallery view. And this is on the top right. So if you prefer this view, which now that I'm looking at it, I really like this. We can do this. But now that we know everything that a customer can do and everything that we can see, it's very important to keep up with your contact information inside of Matrix. But I have a tip for you. I want to teach you that you can get these notifications directly to your email or directly to your cell phone. So if you are busy, maybe you have a full-time job, you're doing this part-time, maybe you're on the road searching or sending property, you can get automatic notifications of activity that's happening so you can respond quickly. Let's show you where you can do this. Up at the top where it says your name, we're going to go back into settings. But from the settings, instead of going into my information, we're going to go into portal notification settings. Give this a click. Now from here, look at all of the notifications that you can get. You can get when your customer visits their portal, meaning they went into one home to check out the properties you sent them. When they have a favorite property, when they removed a favorite, when they discarded a listing, undiscarded it, I guess they changed their mind, added a little note for you, saves a search, or visits the portal for the first time. You choose how you want to be notified. Check off whether you want it in an email or you want it in a text. In the chat, put if you prefer email, write email. If you prefer text, write text. So you want to check off your preference. I like both, but you want to check off yours. So which are the ones that I would check off? I would check off the following, but these are my favorites. You guys can check them off all if you'd like. I think visits portal the first time, super important. I need to know that I sent them properties and they at least found their portal and that they can get into it. Because if I'm not getting the email, if I'm not getting the text, I know I got to immediately call them back. Saves a search. Yep, I want to know when that's happening. Why? I created a search for you in South Miami. You're looking for 3 bedrooms, 2 baths, under 900,000. And now I see, or I get a notification that you've created another search in Pembroke Pines, for example. That city is in my brain today. But yes, they can create their own searches. So it's a great way that you can assist them in that way, that you know what they're looking for. Add a note, they're trying to communicate with me. I want to be able to communicate with them right away. And then I also like saves a favorite, because then I can start working on getting it to be available for them to see it. And then visits portal. Those are my favorites. I can see their activity. I'm going to scroll down to the bottom. And now we're going to pop in our information if you want to get that text. Your first step is click on the link at the bottom. Click here to edit or to input your cell information. You're going to input your cell, and then you're going to click on the drop down and you're going to select your provider. You're going to receive a code. So you got to click send me a verification code. You'll receive a text from SEF, which stands for Southeast Florida, at emailmatrixmailer.com. That's going to give you a code. You're going to pop in that code and then you're going to press save. Okay. For some of you, it's going to take not even 10 seconds. For some of you, it'll take a minute. Depends on your provider. But this is a way that you guys can get that notification right away. Did you like this? This is one of my favorite things too on Matrix 201. All right. Any questions so far? Perfect. Now that we've got some of our settings in place, we've got our market watch in place, we've got our contacts in place. Now we're going to talk about where can you access emails that you sent out. In our last class, we talked about how you can create an email, but I didn't show you where you can access the emails that you sent. So again, all of your work lives under My Matrix. And here you have sent emails. When I click under sent emails, it'll tell me when I sent it, to who I sent it to, the type of email. This is a direct email, my subject, and the 2 listings. If the person is on one home, I can also see if they viewed it or not. So clicking on the drop down arrow, I can see what I wrote to them, and I can click on those 2 listings. So this is a great way to keep tabs on what it is that you're working on. In 201, we're going to level up on our email game. So far we've sent in a direct email. My next thing that I want to teach you, and again, this is all about saving time, is creating a search and sending an auto email. This will allow the system to go ahead and take your criteria and automatically send it to your customer. So let's do that now. I'm going to search and I'm going to do an RE1, RE2, and we're going to do an active property. That's a condo. I'll do a townhouse. And I'm going to do, I have 1,562 results so far. I'm going to do the city of Miramar. And I have 11 matches already because I'm very specific with my townhome. On the top, which I want to get very specific with when I'm doing an auto email. On the top, I'm going to add in, I want 3 or more bedrooms, 2 or more baths. Now, I don't know what the price point is here. Let's pretend that for a second. What can I do before I add in that price point? Because I only have 10 matches. What you can do is you can click on results and this will give you your result grid. And your result grid is here to help you. So I'm going to show you some of the tips that you can do to get organized about your result grid. There's some things here that we're not using, and there's some things that we can add in. So for example, my price point for this area, it's going to start from most expensive to most economic. If I want to change that, I can click on LP, which is listing price, double click, and now I think it froze. There you go. Okay, double click LP, and then now it's going from the most economic to the most expensive. You can also do this for square feet. So for example, click. Maybe size is most important to your customer. Now it's from the biggest to the littlest. We can put it in order, maybe by subdivision or complex. So subdivision is the name of a community. Click. And now we have it in order, right? Alphabetically. So sometimes it'll be a little bit easier to review. So for example, if you have 2 properties that are located in the same community, initially I can just see that. It'll make it a little easier to work my information. Now, let's say I want to take some stuff out and add some stuff in. SP, since I'm looking for active property, I don't need this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to place my mouse not on the specific title, because that's a little pointer. I'm going to move it to the side slightly so that my mouse pointer changes into this crossbow. So I'm going to click, and then I'm going to remove the column, right? So let's say I want to change the order. For example, that size is pretty important to me. So I'm going to take my square feet and I'm going to move it on the other side of list price. And let's say I also want to know how many days these properties have been on market. So I'm going to take my mouse and I'm going to show you how to add a field now. So right next to list price, right next to list price, right next to address, I'm going to click and I'm going to insert a column. And I'm going to insert days on market. So I'm going to do DOM. And I'm going to click DOM grid, and I'm going to apply it. Now I know this property's been on the market 18 days, 14 days, 6 days. This is 108, right? So the longer that property's been on market, maybe the more negotiation power I have as an agent. What else can we add? Let's say these are townhomes, so maybe they have an association. I can add that in too. So next to design, which I don't want, I'm going to click remove column, and I'm going to add insert column, and I want association. You can do association fee and apply. And I like the fee, so I'm going to take that and I'm going to put it right next to my days on market. Now, if my townhouse has an association fee, then they may need to apply to the association. So that's another thing I may be interested in looking for. So I'm going to click on insert column, and I'm going to do association fee paid per. So I know if it's monthly. Let's see, what else can we add? Approval information and application fee. So how much do they need to apply? And then how long is it going to take? Approval information, apply. All right. I'm going to click on this and I'm going to try to wrap this line. Sometimes it behaves very, very well. Let me take it and squeeze that together. All right. So now when I look at property, I can say this property is available. It takes 1 or 2 weeks to be approved for the approval. My customer has to pay 150. It does have an additional association of 209. It's been on the market for 18 days. I got one more for you. What if you also added, maybe we'll do it over here. Insert showing instructions. And now, right as I look through my stuff, I even know how is it that I have to show it. Showing assist, I know what to click on. Appointment only, showing assist, appointment only, 24-hour notice. I already know how I need to show the property. Did you guys like this? So far, what did we do? We added what we wanted. We deleted what we didn't want. We wrapped the text, customized it. So you don't have to do this. You find a property, you click on the MLS number. Let me click on listing because it's in property history view, and then go through all of this and say, okay, I need this. And where's my association information? It's going to be around here. You get it all readily available for you. Another good one could be terms. So let me go back into my agent single line. And now I want to know, well, how can my customer buy it? Insert column. And the tip is terms. Terms considered, apply. So before anything, we know how they can buy it, how much they need to apply, what the approval is going to take, the address, well, the address, the fee. So let me move my fee a little bit. Paid per, and how many days it's been on market. And this is even before I start really deep diving into the rest of my search. Okay. I did all this work here. If I leave this page and I come back, this page will still be here today because I worked on it and the system saves it for a little bit. But if I sign out and I come back tomorrow, this is gone and I have to rebuild it. So I've got another hack for you. You're going to click on this little paper and the pencil, and you're going to save this. So you're going to click on this. You delete where it says agent single line. You can name it whatever you want, and then click on save as a copy. So then anytime you do a search with whatever criteria you want, it doesn't have to be in this area, you can pull up this search. It's going to give you the original view. It's going to give you your original view, which is your agent single line. The agent single line is not going to look like this. It'll be the original, how it comes. It's up to us then to change it from agent single line to my display. So under my display, I'm going to click on my RE2 townhouse condo search, and it'll be in place for me. Now, when you click on that drop down, you see I have a million MIs. These are all of the different ones that I do in class. You won't have so many, so it'll be easier to find. For me, if I were you, I would do this for my townhome. I would do this for my single family. I would do this for my rentals, my short-term rentals. Take a moment to optimize this, because as you move through showing property, you're going to know immediately what is it that I need to see before I go into do my deep dive of the full MLS page. Let me take a look at our chats. Awesome. I love 201. Matrix 201 is one of my favorite classes. Yes, the whole idea is to let the system do the heavy lifting for you, Ismati. I can email from this page, but what we're doing, Colleen, is we're just updating our results page. So Aileen, like I mentioned, no, it will not stay. So we had to do the little tip of clicking on the little paper and the pencil so that we can manage the display and save this so you can use it later. So click, give it its name. When you click on it too, remember that you can save changes to it. You can delete it. You can revert the unsaved changes. So if you have to update what you're interested in, you can change it. Of course, this search can be sent to a client. When we send this to a customer, they're not going to get this view. This is your view as a realtor. But these properties, we have 10. So in the last search that I did, before sending it to our customer, I wanted to teach you this. To send it to a customer, you just check off whatever you want to send to them. Now, if I check this off, I don't know if you guys noticed, look at the bottom. If I uncheck it, my icons are dull, right? They're off. Once I check off a property, they all light up for me. I want to talk to you about some of the actions you can take. In 101, we know that if you click on criteria, that's going to take you right back to your criteria for your customer if you're not happy with your results. Criteria is always working with maps. That's always working with results. As I check these off, I can decide, right, to email or print these properties, which we did in 101. Now, what I didn't show you in 101 is you also have the ability to share it as a link. So I'm going to check off sharing it as a link, share link. Here you have 3 listings for today, generate URL. Now copy URL. And now you can send this out in an email. So for example, or via text. It's also going to give you insight into what they get. So here is their customer portal. Let me make this a little bit bigger. Okay. Here's their customer portal. Now, we haven't assigned it to a customer, so this isn't my preferred way to send it, but you do have it so that they can preview properties quick and efficiently. These are the 3 that I selected, and this is insight into what their portal looks like. So you have that option. The other option that we have is you can begin a CMA with properties. You can get directions so that you know where it is that these properties are located if you're interested in showing them. So clicking on directions, it'll show you where they're available on the map, right? And the easiest way to get from one to another with turn-by-turn directions that you can submit to your customer. You have stats that we talk about in Matrix 301. You can export the data, or you can do a showing tour using showing time. The next tab over is refine. So you can click on refine and you can narrow or discard the selected. So if I click on narrow, what will happen is only the properties that I checked off will be available on the screen. I want to get those properties back on the top, very, very small. It says original results. The other option I have is I can discard what's selected. If I want it back, I can undiscard. All right. Since I'm going to show you now the auto email, I don't have to check off anything. I click on save. In our last class, we learned how to create a new search. In this class, we're doing the new auto email. So I'm going to click new auto email. What's a new auto email? All of the criteria from our search is going to be collected by the system. And the system's going to automatically send those properties to your customers. You don't have to come in every day, go to your saved searches, and send property out. The system will send it out. When will it send it out? It'll send it if it's a new property that's active, or if that property has lowered the price, or if that property went to pending and then went back to active, they'll also receive it. So there's many times a customer can receive that property. So if you have a lot of results, do not do an auto email, because it can be frustrating to receive too many emails in one day. So from here, I'm going to select my customer. And that's because our first step is to always add in a new customer. If you have not, though, you can create a new contact from here. Okay, adding in a new customer, their email, their phone number, and then their category. Buyer customer, and then save. Their information is now here. So we always want to assign a customer. Subjects, whatever subject you like. I like new. I'm going to change this properties to homes. For your consideration, you can BCC yourself on an email. The carbon copy I would not use at this time. Either way, whether you BCC or not, if you blind carbon copy, you will receive an email to your email of what they get. But remember that the system under My Matrix auto emails, you have them available. Now they're going to receive a welcome email from you. It says, "Dear," your customer's name, "I've set up a new saved search for you on One Home," which is their customer portal. "I'll send you any new or updated listings that matches what you're looking for. Let me know what you think of the listings. We can adjust your saved searches at any time. You can also like or dislike and leave notes for me on any listings." Here, I would add, once you create your free One Home account. So they don't have their One Home created. They can view properties, but they cannot interact with them. I want to let you know that as of now. Our signature is already here. Why? Because we did it in 101. This is the criteria that the system's going to go based on. An RE1, RE2 active townhome in Miramar with 3 bedrooms and 2 baths. Here, I've checked it off that I want to show this contact and reverse prospecting. We'll explain this later. And now we're scheduling. So technically, so far, all I've had to do was add in my customer, put in a subject, scroll to the bottom, and do nothing except for schedule. You've got ASAP. If you don't have a lot of property in an area, ASAP is fine. It'll send them the second a property becomes available. But recall this when you select ASAP. They've changed the price. If it goes back on market, if a customer inputs a new listing at 3 a.m., they will receive that email the moment the property becomes available. If there's not a lot of property and where they're looking for, then ASAP could be a good option. For renters also, because that market runs so quickly. Daily, I prefer. So you can send it once a day, all of the properties at 8 a.m. in the morning, or uncheck, check all PM, and then send it once a day at 8 p.m. Okay. Or you can get real specific, not on Sundays and not on Saturdays. Okay. So here we go. Or monthly. Monthly for an active customer is not good. Maybe they're working on their credit and they're not ready to buy. Once a month lets them know that you exist. Clicking on save. Okay, and you created that auto email. So where are these auto emails now? My matrix, auto emails. And I've got a few different auto emails that I want to show you. The first one is in red. I can click on it and tell you why. And click on settings. Disabled. Welcome email ignored by client. So I sent this email to my customer, and my customer didn't receive or didn't click on that first email. And that's why in the notifications, I want you guys to know when they go into their portal. If they never get their welcome email, the system will not send them any follow-up emails. So my matrix, auto emails. The green ones, this is ideal. This means it's an active search. And if it's checked off, your customer has selected to view. So as I scroll down to the right, I have 3/6/2023 is the last time she went in to view her properties. This one is active. It's checked off because I myself am reviewing this information because it's a concierge. That's your next step. This, we just did it. We just did this one. So I'm going to click on the drop down and you can see your information, and you can also open it in one home. This will give you that sneak peek again into the portal of your customer and everything that they can do. When we saw their contacts, I talked to you that they have a planner, right? So if they're working on their little planner, they can choose buyer mode or seller mode. And they can choose, okay, I want to get started. And it's going to talk to me about getting to know the process. It's a short little thing, but there's questions here. So this is another tip. Jump into this because I don't want any of their questions to throw you off. What is the typical timeline for buying a home? What can I do to make sure everything runs smoothly? Is there anyone else I need to work with for this sale? And they can mark it as complete. It says it's off limits because I'm in an agent preview mode. It says it right here. Okay, this is that. Here they can see their favorites if they have any. Buy or rent properties that you've sent them. They can like them, they can dislike them, they can find them on the map, right? And when they click on it, I love this part. On the right-hand side, it says it's for sale. It's a new listing. But look at the breakdown per cost. It gives them what are they going to be paying a month. and it'll give an estimate on their mortgage, property taxes, home insurance, HOA information, utilities. So they get an idea. Okay, I need to pay X amount for this property, but I also need to make sure that this money, I have this on a month-to-month basis. And this is, again, an estimate. Okay, they can request a tour. This is where they add their notes. They have insight into the market. So they get all of these demographics. And this heavy lifting, the system does it for us. Let me check. Could repeat that, please, to share the link. How did you get into One Home so easily to send the email from there? Do you have to ask the clients to register or sign up for One Home? And why the selection in settings? All right. So what steps did I take so far? So far, we created an auto email. I went into my matrix and I went into auto emails so you guys can see them. This is the auto email that I made. It's called New Homes for Your Consideration to Christy. I clicked on the drop-down arrow and it gave me additional options. And the one that I chose was open in One Home. This will give you insight to what your customer is getting. So I already send this to them. But when I click on this, I get to see what they see in their portal. I cannot interact from here, see? Because you're in an agent preview mode. So this is just for you to look. And for you guys to see how professional it is. Here's my image that we did in 101. Here's my social media. Right here, all my details. And all of that branding, it matters that we did it. Looks very good. And when you click on this, it'll give you like a little web page that the system made. All right. The next step I want to show you. What if your customer says, before it turns red, what if your customer says, I did not get my link. I did not get my welcome email from you. I can't find it anywhere. Perfect. Get on the phone with them. And the second that they're on the phone and they're in front of a computer, you click on resend welcome. So that they know you sent it out, they're going to receive it. The system doesn't let you do too many resend welcomes. Why? It doesn't want you to interrupt that agent, that customer. So the whole idea is you got to be on the phone with them so that they can see it. What if your customer changes their mind about the criteria? You have criteria here. You can click on criteria, and from here you can change what they're looking for. So for example, let's say they looked far and wide in Miramar and they said, you know what? Can we also look in Pembroke Pines? Sure. I'm going to select it. I'm going to click on add. I'm going to click on okay. And then I'm going to click on save. Oh, it gives you the little warning. Client must click link in their email to activate. I'm going to scroll down. I've updated my information. So now it's 2 cities, Miramar and Pembroke Pines, and I can save it. So far, we know how to respond when your customer lost their one home welcome, how to update their criteria. Now we're going to learn how to turn it off. So for example, let's say I want to check this off. I can delete it down here. That'll allow me to delete the whole thing. Or I can disable. Disable is excellent because let's say you went into pending. They already found the property. Do you want the system to keep sending them properties? No. So disable it. It'll turn red, but you don't lose it. You didn't delete it. You can then click on it again, click on settings, and then it says disabled by agent. Just turn it back on. Enable under settings. Clicking on save. Let's say you created an auto email and your customer, I don't know, unsubscribed by accident. If your customer unsubscribes by accident, because maybe they received too many, maybe they got mad, maybe it was spamming them, whatever. you cannot come back in and update that information. They need to send an email. So that information, you can find it under your name. It says help. And I'm going to put in the search, disable auto email and search. So I can find the article for you. This one. How does my client opt back in if they accidentally unsubscribe to my matrix emails? This is the email. And I'm going to put it in the chat. Paste. They need to, as the direction says, they need to send a blank email to the email I put in the chat from the email address they used when they unsubscribed. They don't have to fill in the subject line or type a message. Then you have to go back into My Matrix, choose Auto Emails, click on Settings, and then enable them the way that I showed you. Okay, but they have to send the email first or the system won't let you do that second piece. Okay. The auto email, you don't have control of whatever is sending out. Whatever's part of that criteria is going to be sent. So if you have a particular customer that has some criteria, but you know that you need to kind of preview everything first, then you have the concierge email that you can use. So how do you do a concierge email? Same steps as a regular search. So I'm going to go into my recent searches. Actually, we'll do a new search. We'll do search and let's change it up. Let's do the rental. R&T, residential rental. I'm going to look for an active property and their budget is, let's go 1850 and under. See what I have. In Miami-Dade, 650. And we're looking for 2. We have 9. Okay. So Miami-Dade, their price point is 1850, 2 plus bedrooms, 2 plus bathrooms. That's active. I didn't pick a property type. I didn't go into a city. Why? Because as you learn your market, you know, based on budget, that sometimes it's not going to give you that many results. So you want to start small and see what you have. So I picked Miami-Dade. I have 9 results. These 9 results, I'm going to create an auto email, but I'm also going to talk to you about some very important additional fields. So for example, pets allowed is a big one. Application fee, approval information. These are all great ones that I showed you in my list. So not only can you add them to a result list, you can add them as an additional field. If in rentals, you add anything, add the pets. Add in pets, click pets allowed, tap add, and then back. Each property type has different additional fields. So you would have to re-add them if you have fields that you like. I'm going to put yes. If they have pets, they're down to 1. Okay. So in the way that a pool can drastically change your results, pets do the same thing for rentals. So I'm going to click on no. We have 8. But what's better? Clicking on nothing. We have 9. So again, I just wanted to reiterate on that. So it's best to select nothing. So under 9 results, I'm going to click on the results button. These are all of the properties that I have available from 1,250 all the way to 1,850. We're going to do a concierge service now. You do it the same way you were going to do an auto email. You click on save. When you click on save, here's how you click the new save search. We learned that in 101. This is how you start a new auto email. We just did that. So technically, we're going to create another new auto email, but we're going to add in an additional service, which is called a concierge mode. So this is another way that you can practice the auto email again. Create your new contact or simply add them in. Put in your messages. We've got our welcome email and reoccurring email. That all stays the same. This is our criteria the system is looking for. But here is that concierge mode. So I'm going to check off enable concierge mode. And when I did that, the scheduling went away. So let me uncheck it. See? Enable concierge mode. From here, now the system is going to send me the properties first. And then once I preview them, I can then go ahead and approve what's being sent out to her. And this is for that customer that you need to kind of review everything that you send before it goes out. It also gives you more control of the automation process. You're still saving time because you're sending, the system's doing it for you. So I'm going to click on save, go to approvals. And then from here, again, it's already assigned to my customer. I can choose, what do you want to send? I want to send this property and this property and this property. And then I can approve these three are selected. I clicked on it. And the system's going to send out those three properties. My next option is I can decide, well, this property is not really going to fit, so I'm going to reject this one. And if I don't want to send everything at once, I don't have to. I can simply click on done. And the system will hold these off for me until tomorrow when I want to send them more. Or if I want to send everything, you have approve all 5. So in this case, I'm not going to send everything. I want her to kind of mull over what she has available. I'm going to click on done. And now we're going to talk about where can I find these properties that I need to approve. The first place that you can find them is this little bell. This little bell will let you know that you have properties that you need to approve that are on concierge service. When you click on that little bell, it'll tell you the 3 searches and the 3 customers that you need to go in and approve. So you can go back in and decide, okay, you know what? I'm going to send these 3 now. I'm going to approve these selected. Perfect. I got 2 left. Clicking on my matrix dashboard, it's still there because you have 2 that are unpublished, right? That you haven't sent out. Aside from here, the first time that you create a concierge, this widget is going to appear on your screen. It's called a concierge widget. It'll show you the 3 customers in real time that you need to approve. 2 properties for Christine Denny's, 5 for Connie Nieto, 24 for Connie Nieto. I have to jump in there and I need to approve these. The third way that you'll be notified of properties that you need to approve is you will receive an email directly from the Matrix system. So Matrix is going to send you an email letting you know, hey, we've got some properties that we need to approve for your customers. All right. So far, if you've been with me, Matrix 101 and 201, you have learned 3 different ways that you can send an email. You can send a direct email using a saved search. You can create an auto email, or you can do a concierge email. Put in the chat which one you think you're going to use the most. Save search, auto email, or concierge mode. Now, if you do not approve properties, no properties are going out. Let me see the chat. The auto email, I see 2 auto emails. I see concierge. Auto emails. Perfect. I love it. So I love that you have the opportunity to kind of preview them. You see all of them. I see some concierge, and you can choose which one you want to use. All right. You know, this class is all about tips. So the next section that I want to show you is going to be regarding your map. Auto emails, there's no approvals. Nope, it's automatic. But if you ever get lost, right, and you want to do a concierge, remember it's the same step as the auto email. Okay. You just have to add that additional layer of concierge service. Let's talk about your map options. So I'm going to click on my recent searches for Pembroke Pines under 650, 4 bedrooms, 2 baths. In this section, I want to talk to you about a map. So all I need is some results. When you look up a property, I'm going to click on this property here, and then I'm going to click on view map. So you guys saw this? I'm going to click on that. And when you click on that, it opens you up to a new page, which looks like this. And it'll show you exactly where the property is. And so far, I spoke to you about the Google Street View. So it says map, Google Street View. And you can see around that neighborhood, you get a nice visual. And then under map, you actually have both map, which gives you a really good view of like where the roads are, where the main streets are. Then you can click on satellite and you get a good idea of what that neighborhood looks like, what's around it, right? That could make a difference with price point. What else do you get? You get layers. Parcel, that's what we're looking at now. You've also have flood zone. Is my property in a flood zone? You've got the key at the bottom. Ours is in the yellow. What else do we got here? Boundaries. You've got schools. So elementary, middle, and high school. So you can see the schools in the area. I'm going to change it to satellite. So it'll be a little easier to see. Well, map, so it'll be a little easier to see. And we're pretty close, so I can't see the schools yet. So I'm going to click on minus so I can get a bigger view. And from here, you get to see, all right, where are those schools? We've got our little school here. Here's your elementary. I clicked on all of the schools. So let me maybe uncheck some of these. Find the high school. Okay, so their high school is Charles Flanagan High School. Their middle school, Pines Middle School. And then we've got their elementary school. We can also see if it's in a particular small little neighborhood. Okay, and this is actually called Lakeside South. So if you want to see their particular little neighborhood and you wanted to check this out, this is a great way for you to discover those small areas that locals would know about, as well as people who are very familiar with this area. They're asked for things like the landing, Pembroke Lake South, that you can search. So very important to kind of review this information. Did you guys like the map? We've got county. County is very big. But this is some research. I also like points of interest. Look at this. So you can find, is there any art or entertainment in the area? Is there any place for food and dining? Where is the healthcare, the post office, places to shop? Let's see. Transportation, things that your customer might be interested in previewing, you can check them off. And then they'll start populating. So here, this is a place to shop over here. So from here, I like to show this map feature per listing. If you kind of want to really deep dive into some of the boundaries, like neighborhood, elementary schools, high schools, flood zones, stuff like that. But I also want to show you, let me clear all points of interest, that you can work the full map. Any of your property that you've put in criteria, we've jumped from criteria to results, but criteria will always populate on your map. And here you have these properties that are available here. Some agents prefer to search this way. So I'm going to do my matrix dashboard and start a new search. And I'm going to use the map search on the top. So I'm going to put in, here's an address, 4739 Northwest 1st Street, Plantation, Florida. It says, did you mean? I'm going to say yes. And it's going to activate it. Map area selected. And I'm looking for active property and nothing else within 0.2 miles of this address. You can make it bigger, clicking on the drop down. So for example, let's go out a mile. I have 22 properties. You can click on the map and voila, they're right here. Okay, so that's one of the ways that you can search. This is called a radius. So in the middle, it says I can either delete this shape or exclude it. I can also add in a shape in another area. So I can click on radius to draw, because these are your forms on the top. And let's say my customer is also interested in this little area over here, and it'll show me how far I'm going out. So you can see 0.63 miles all the way to another mile, and I can release it. So you can look at different areas in your maps for properties, and then only the properties that are available here are going to be available inside of your results. So for example, let's say I'm scrolling in. This is a little house form. If I hover my mouse, you can see the price. If I click on it, you can see a little picture. You can check it off that you want to work on it later. And you can click on the MLS number to get to the MLS page. But if I click back on my map, it's going to take me right where I was so I don't get lost. And this is my checked off property. So these are two ways that you can search on your map. You can either use the criteria, or you can use your form. I'm going to go ahead and scroll to the bottom and click on criteria. And I'm going to click on clear. From here, I'm just going to choose active, and I'm going to go back to my map. Another tip for you. I'm going to zoom out. Zoom out. Okay. And I'm going to move into another area, get a little closer, and now you have numbers. These are little numbers where you can select if you're interested in the properties in this area. Another way that you can search is you can use your layers. So I'm going to click on layers, and I'm going to do zip codes. So if you're not familiar with zip codes, where they start or where they end, this is a great way for you to research and preview exactly the zip codes that your customers are interested in. It says it right there, 33142, 33125. If you're interested in searching by zip code, you can also select this little hand here, and you can say, you know what, I want to do for my customer 33142. This is the area she's interested in. So then here I went ahead and I selected this group of properties, and then I click on my little hand as well. And let's say I'm also interested here. So it'll allow you to select up to 5,000 results. If it's more than 5,000 results, it will not show you any results because the system can only house that many at once. Okay, so I have these two properties or two areas that I'm interested in. And as I zoom in, now I can start my search from here. Okay, let me go ahead and clear this. You can do that with a little eraser. And we have our zip codes. Did you guys like the zip codes? let me show you another one that you may like. I'm going to move into trends now. And within trends, I'm going to show you how you can find a little bit of statistics with a very good visual. So under type, I'm going to move it into sales active. Well, median sales price of the area. I want to go by zip code and I want to focus on the single family home, SFR. Then from here, I want to release it and give the map a few minutes so it can do its thing. It's starting to show you your grid from 300,000 all the way into more than 1 million. And you get a very good visual of easily how much things cost as you move through your map. So visually speaking, if you needed to meet with a customer, this could be a great start. Let me make this a little bit smaller. Well, I guess it's larger, so I can see more territory. And here you have your price points, and then you're able to review that area. So if you know they're interested in these little pockets, you already know more or less that price point. So this is another one of my favorite little tips that you could do with your layers. I love it. Sure. So what I did was I clicked on my layers and we were interested in trends. So we clicked on trends and I did median sales price as my type. But look, you have other ones. You've got sales activity, median square foot costs, so price per square foot. You've got the number of foreclosures. And then you choose, once you have your stat that you want to research, if you want to look at it through a zip code or a neighborhood, I think zip code is best. And then you break up that property, whether it's single family or condo or both. Whenever you do statistics, pick whether it's going to be your single family homes or your condos. So you make your selections, you click and you just release it. So you click outside of that and the map will start giving you the colors based on price and the key will automatically populate for you. We still have it based on zip code. Okay, so if you want to uncheck anything, you click on map, boundaries. You see how some of them are red? That's only the case because I'm too far. So if that ever happens to you, just get closer. Click on your layers and it'll populate. Okay. You have MLS statuses, so you can search by status. Some of you might be interested in expired. Let me go into my trends. I'm going to do none to remove that. And let's do a quick overview of everything that we learned because it was a good class and we did learn a lot. So this is Matrix 201 and we learned from miamirealtors.com that you have an amazing resource under MLS. We also learned that you can access your Miami Gateway by selecting Miami Gateway. That'll give you all of your products and services. And we briefly talked about how you can access both your Matrix system and your Rapatoni system with tips on which is best to select. From here, we entered our Matrix system and we talked about so much that you can do inside of Matrix. One of the things that we talked about was inside of my Matrix, where you can find your sent emails, your saved searches, and your auto emails. We also did practices of all of your auto emails as well as concierge emails. We went into your contacts and we did a deep dive on how you can add a contact, how you can view them from gallery, all of the information that you can obtain, such as your auto emails, your saved searches, the last time they were inside of one home, and how to use your actions up at the top. We also clicked inside of one of these and we learned all of the different things that you have access to, including the title or the first menu at the top and how you can edit them if need be. We talked about how it is that you can receive notifications under the drop-down arrow inside of help. drop down arrow inside of settings. Within settings, we worked on our portal notifications and we added in our cell phones. We also learned under help how it is that you can find articles. How it is that you can find articles to help you. And we also learned the email that we can use if your customer accidentally unsubscribes. We also talked about your data input forms and how you can use them to add in additional fields. We did some practice searches both in the RE1 and RE2. We talked about your criteria, your map, and your results. We talked about how you can add in an additional field. And then within our information or sent emails, let me click on auto email. We learned the differences between how to turn them off, how to turn them on, how to change the settings, how to disable, and how to resend that welcome. I hope that you can join me for Matrix 301, where I talk about the CMA as well as statistics. So the statistics would be available over here. I also have my matrix, my CMA. And we also talked about, don't let me forget, the result grid. Remember, we did talk about the result grid and all of the different ways that we can customize and save it so that we're able to go back and review. Thank you for attending Matrix 201, and thank you for being Miami members.